Okay, coming back online here because Hamas has provided the incorrect bodies. So they parade the body of Oded Lifshitz in a casket. They parade the body of Kfir Bibas, Ariel Bibas, and now they paraded the body of a random person, not their mother, Shiri Bibas. So they told Israel that they're providing Shiri Bibas. They provide a body, and it's a random person. Erev Tov here to Holy Brother. Yeah, this is completely nuts. I mean, look, you have a genocidal terrorist organization that is now completely violating the ceasefire deal, demonically parading everyone around as if it's like some sort of zoo or pet exhibit. And it wasn't even true. They didn't even provide the body of Shiri Bibas, which is part of their psychological plan to terrorize Israel and Jews across the world. And with the terrorist attacks that happened today in Bat Yam, and thank God nobody was injured, but a huge plot to try to create more chaos. So Israel's in a precarious situation here, dealing with the fact that there are live hostages who are supposed to come out on Shabbat. And now you are also dealing with an emergency in which they violated the terms of the ceasefire. What's up, Amir? And they violated the terms of the ceasefire and are now who even knows what the next step is, because there's a chance that they don't even know where Shiri Bibas's body is, presumably, which could explain why they have an issue like this. So I think that the Jewish world is just in collective shock right now. And it's a day that I don't think anybody will forget. It's not, it's truly unbelievable. And the most disgusting thing, perhaps of all, is you see on all the Palestinian Hamas channels, Telegram channels, that they're supporting this. This isn't saying, okay, this is a few crazy people that are in control, but they don't really speak for us. No, the regular civilian people are there supporting what's going on. Look, I think when you look at what Mayor Kahana said in the context of just the facts, forget the political level, you have to evaluate what he was saying on his terms instead of just claiming that he was something that he wasn't. At the end of the day, the Palestinian national narrative is a death cult that is seeking to replace Jewish history and to make it null and void. They are not trying to build something that's compatible with the state of Israel. They are trying to destroy the state of Israel. They are raising their children to be prepared to martyr themselves, kill themselves to advance their cause. That is not coexistence. That is not peace. You know, we shouldn't pray for peace. We should pray for victory. We should pray that the other side respects us and can't walk all over us. And if we couldn't wake up after October 7th, we need to wake up after February 20th and understand that even the concept that Israel isn't at war at some times and now they're at war, that's a false dichotomy. Israel is always at war every single day for its survival. You are dealing with genocidal maniacs on the other side. Maniacs. Nothing less than maniacs. Yeah, I agree with you. It's peace through strength. The second we give anything up, we're losing. And the concept that we're also putting restrictions on fighters and the rules of engagement being much tighter, especially in Yudav Shimron, this is a problem. It needs to be that if a single terrorist messes with the Jewish people, messes with Israelis, that there's consequences and that they are scared to do that because they know what's going to happen. And this concept that they can get away with this is absolutely insane. TikTok told me to encourage people to share the live and invite more friends so we can get a better conversation. But any questions or any opinions, I'd be happy to include them as well. Kind of just responding to the this absolutely shocking news that Hamas has provided a random body instead of Shiri Bibas. It's crazy. I mean, you have Western outlets, you have CNN, you have the UN castigating Israel when they think that there's a delay in aid. And here you go with Hamas doing these insane things, which we already thought were disgusting and absolutely gross. And they took it to a whole nother level. They provided a body that was not Shiri Bibas's body. And I cannot imagine what that was like talking to Yarden. I just cannot imagine. Heart goes out to Yarden, Bibas. It's not enough to deal with being in captivity for almost 500 days, and now you come home and you are faced with the reality that your children and wife are not home, and then you think, okay, the bodies are coming home, we're going to have some sort of closure, and instead of having closure, they actually just provided a random body. It's absolutely disgusting. And I was fascinated today as we were going through all these things, and I'm going to open this up with oh, awesome. What's up, dude? So I'm just going to share some of these comments here from Instagram. I mean, it's actually insane what they were saying. So someone came to me and said on comments, they said, didn't Israelis literally have tour boats to look at what they've done to Gaza? Tour boats where they took children with them for a day out. Yeah, they did. You've lost the moral high ground. I don't think you have even had it. I mean, what the heck are they talking about? Where did they come up with this? I mean, Al Jazeera didn't even say that stuff. That's insane. Yeah, no, that's insane. Okay. Don't you lecture us about morality? You talk about the IDF's murders as mere accidents. Yeah. If someone is killed, an innocent civilian is killed, there's either a justification in the sense that it's a high level target like Sinwar or Nasrallah that have to be engaged. And if someone were to, God forbid, murder an innocent civilian, I'm not going to say the word murder, but if a civilian is killed accidentally, trust me, there's people inside the army that you're getting in a lot of trouble and you're going to be held accountable. And that's not celebrated in society. So crazy. Um, let's see here. But you're not sickened by the IDF who killed that baby. Israel literally has a cemetery of numbers full of bodies. Then you have Sderot Cinema, where Israelis go to celebrate Gaza being bombed. This is the occupier, not the occupied. Israel has zero excuse for celebrating. An army that ties explosives around a 90-year-old neck and uses him as a human shield. Um, I don't even know what the heck they're talking about. That's crazy. You have kids sign bombs that are used to murder other children. Shut up. Um, no. You're signing a bomb. It was a unity thing, and that they're targeting terrorist facilities. So, so much for that one. Um, Everything Zioscum say is a confession. No one likes you, flea bags. Again, these are the people that are actually defending the baby murderers and the people that are parading caskets around. So, um, yeah. What else we got here? I mean, and your society supports massacring little children. Sniper shoots them in the head and chest, and then wear dead Palestinian women's lingerie to make TikToks. I think I responded to this guy. Yeah, no, there's no murdering, sniping people in the head, kids in the head. That's not happening. The TikTok videos is actually something it's worth addressing just because it shows the difference between the society here. The IDF has a problem, and really had a problem in the middle of the war, in which soldiers were making completely vile and inappropriate videos on Instagram and on TikTok that were highly embarrassing and morally reprehensible. And a good segment of the population called them out and said that this is crazy. So, yes, people do things that are not great. But the IDF, Israel, Jewish people as a whole stand up and say that's not acceptable. Whereas you have Hamas, a democratically elected government in Gaza, that is bringing its children to watch other children in caskets being paraded around. So that is the difference. And if you can't see that, then you're a moral fool. You're an absolute moral fool if you can't understand the difference there. Um, it's not even a question. Um, hold on one second. I mean, this is just crazy. Let's see what else is going on here on the chats. You have um, question from Noam Amir. Should we blow up the deal just before the 6 hostages are due to return alive this coming Shabbos, or should we refrain from violating it? The IDF has recommended that the political echelon not blow up the deal. I would argue that at this stage, where the IDF is so close and you have people at the finish line here, at least for these 6 hostages, you don't have a choice. You need to keep the deal alive at the second, and nothing of significance is going to change between now, Friday in Israel, and Shabbos when these 6 hostages come home. And it's something you're going to have to evaluate after, because certainly can't make this decision. And don't forget that Shiri Bibas's body is not returned. So perhaps there's some sort of pressure that can now be put from Qatar or from Egypt onto Hamas to make sure they actually get Shiri Bibas's body back, because right now Israel still doesn't have it, and that's an important thing that they're going to receive. It's one of those nights where I'm glad that I'm not making decisions for the prime minister. Um, okay. Hey, rapid response to the news on fear. Okay, got some regular anti-Semitism here. Bullying or harassment. Me. No. Submit. And block this person. Israel Synagogue of Satan. No need to talk to you. Okay. Um, let's see what else we have here from the political spots. Let's see what else we have here. As expected, unfortunately, the damned Nazi terrorist organizations in the Gaza Strip are once again laughing at us and working us blindly. The body of the Bibas mother was not identified. In her place, they placed an anonymous body in the coffin. Security source said in response, "We demand that Hamas return Shiri home along with all of our hostages." Who exactly are you demanding from? From murderous Nazi terrorist organizations that are playing you on purpose? What a bizarre message. Instead of constantly demanding and threatening, start doing. Instead of threatening and demanding, issue an ultimatum to Hamas that they return the body by 2 a.m. Otherwise, there is no deal and no terrorists are released. And before this disgusting terrorist show, the same security establishment and political echelon demanded that such a show not be held. The new Nazis of the Islamic Nation laughed at us and staged a far greater terrorist spectacle than the others with the participation of all terrorist organizations. Israel contained the incident. It's a pretty intense rebuke of what's going on. Because again, there is a question of how many times can Israel just be humiliated on the world stage repeatedly? And this organization, which got its Independence Day on October 7th, in which it outsmarted Israel, is now embarrassing Israel on the world stage. Thanks everyone for tuning in right now. If anyone has any questions, thoughts, throw them in the comments and I'll address them. See what's going on. Just trying to have a discussion about this as we try to understand exactly what's going on in the Bibas saga right now. Let's see if there's any. Yeah, if anyone has any ideas, what do you think should happen? What should Israel do? Throw it in the comments. Have a discussion about it. I'm curious what your thoughts are. Just see what's going on, because to be honest, I have no idea what to do. Very happy that, again, I'm not making these decisions, but it's crazy. And again, the first priority is Yarden Bibas and the Bibas family and what they're going through. So if you have any ideas, any questions, tune in, drop it in the comment here and have a discussion about what's going on. Let's see what else is happening. Netanyahu's office official, Prime Minister Netanyahu, views the bus bombing incident as extremely serious and will order tough action against armed groups in the West Bank, Yadav Shomron. Again, this has been going on for some time. For how much longer? And how did this happen? How is it possible? And I see a few people, you just jumped in here with Palestinian flag. I would love if you want to join in here and have a discussion about how you could possibly defend the government and whatever is going on in Gaza. Um, I think it would be fascinating to see someone try to defend the actions of what's going on. And again, please share this, share the live here. We can have a discussion, better discussion about what's going on. Again, it's Thursday, February 20th here on the East Coast of the United States. In Israel, it's Friday morning, and Hamas has paraded around multiple coffins, one of which was said to be Shiri Bibas, the mother of Kfir and Ariel, and it was not. It was a random person that Hamas put in there, and they completely violated the ceasefire, the terms of the agreement, and now everything is in chaos. So it's going to be very interesting to see how things play out. How does the IDF not know where all the new Toyota Technicals and hundreds of armed terrorists came from? My guess is they actually did know where a lot of these are. They are just, there are certain things they couldn't even go after or take care of due to limitations on their activities. For example, not really touching Deir al-Balah in Gaza was not because they couldn't go in there and they knew that there were things there. They just, first of all, didn't want to get hostages killed, and second of all, didn't want there to be there was only so many fighters they had there. I think that every single truck in Gaza should be blown up. I don't think that while Hamas is in charge, there should be a single Toyota pickup truck. I think that every single I don't think they should have any of the ability Caterpillar heavy machinery. I don't think any of that should be there. I think it should be completely removed. I think that as soon as the ceasefire is over, Israel will go in there and make sure that it's completely destroyed, that there are none of this heavy machinery, because at the end of the day, as has been seen, there has not been a change in what Hamas is trying to do. There's not a change in what the Gazan people are trying to do. There might be some individuals who want to go and leave Gaza, and that's fine. But where are the Oscar Schindlers of Gaza? Is there a single person who's come out and publicly said, oh, there's hostages over there, let's go save them? Is there one person who's done that? I've yet to see a single report. I mean, let's talk about Adir Tahar here. Adir Tahar, Hashem Yikom Damo, he was beheaded on October 7th. His head was taken into Gaza by Palestinian Islamic Jihad. They made a music video holding his head, parading it around. They put his head in an ice cream freezer, trying to sell it online. And after his father raised hell to make sure that they tried to get his head back, it was recovered in late November of 2023, and he was able to have a full burial. But let's not forget, there was a market where people thought that they could sell the head of a soldier. Let's not forget that. And there's not a single Palestinian leader that has come out and said that the beheading of Adir Tahar and keeping his head in an ice cream freezer was wrong. Not one leader has come out and said that. EKOE 222, but can't say with certainty that such a person exists there. I don't understand your comment. Are you talking about an Oscar Schindler type person? Or are you talking about something else. I'm not sure I understand exactly. Again, for those of you just joining now, um, Hamas has now provided the wrong body. They did not provide Shiri Bibas. They provided a random body. Yeah, yes to the Schindler comment. Yeah, um, I'm not sure that such a person exists in Gaza. There are some people that, for their own financial gain, perhaps have given information up to the Shabak, the Shin Bet, to try to get out of there. But I have not seen a single person stand up because it's the right thing. There's not a hostage that's come back and said that they were treated nicely by someone who secretly came in the room to try to help them. Not a single person. Um, O- Oded Lifshitz would take sick Palestinian people, pick them up at the border as they crossed into Israel, and drive them to Israeli hospitals. And how did they pay it back? They murdered him in captivity after they kidnapped him and his wife. Thank God his wife was released. But that is how Hamas repaid the most left wing of Israelis, the people that wanted coexistence, the people that wanted a two-state solution, a people that wanted to live side by side in peace. What are you talking about, Benny? No, they didn't. What is that talking about, Benny? I don't understand what you're saying. And again, share this. We can have a discussion, better discussion. I'm not intimidated by any sort of Palestinian comment or anything like that. Again, if any of the supporters of the Palestinian cause would like to talk, I'd be more than happy to have you join the live stream, because you are going to have to defend what's going on there. And if you want to defend Hamas, go ahead. Let's see it. IDF did not kill him. So you can say whatever you want. The IDF did not kill Oded Lifshitz. He was killed by Palestinian Islamic Jihad. And there's extensive intelligence on this incident. So you can make up whatever you want. It doesn't change the fact that he was murdered by Palestinian terrorists. Let's also remember that it was the quote unquote innocent civilians, the same people who people are trying to defend on social media as innocent civilians. They're the ones who actually kidnapped the Bibas family. The Bibas family was kidnapped by civilians, not Nukhba terrorists, by civilian terrorists dressed in civilian clothes that came and took them and brought a 9-month-old and a 4-year-old and their mother into captivity. So they killed their bargaining chip. So ask Benny. Well, unlike Gazans, unlike Palestinians, Israel will do whatever it can to return hostages, dead or alive. And I can't speak to the madness of Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad. I can't speak to that madness. It's not compatible with humanity. It's not compatible with being a decent human being. It's not compatible with actually having properly functioning emotions. So there's a bargaining chip, whether the person's alive or dead. It doesn't make a difference. I can't tell you why there's some wackos from Gaza that killed an old man who used to drive them to go get medical care in Israel. I can't tell you. And there were plenty of dead bodies that were kidnapped back to Gaza. Plenty. I mean, there's literally a video of Shani Luke being sat upon, her dead body being sat upon in the back of a pickup truck while she's dead on October 7th. So again, Palestinian narrative, complete BS. It's Najla, you can't keep this up. I don't know what that means. Are you talking about Hamas? I'm not really sure how many times can they kill babies and then parade them around in coffins so that their children can watch. I don't know if that's the side that you're on. Um, can't really help you. I mean, perhaps your moral compass is so far gone that there's probably no helping you if that's your thought. Um, I it's impossible to even comprehend because it's not it's inhumane. It's absolutely inhumane. So for those who would be shocked that um, again, why are we even shocked that Hamas did this? 1.9 million displaced is inhumane. Uh, I completely agree that keeping innocent civilians, if there are innocent civilians, is an inhumane thing to do. You can ask Jordan, you can ask Egypt why they couldn't open up their doors and let all of the innocent people out of Gaza on October 7th in the afternoon or October 8th. If Egypt actually cared about any of the Palestinians, they would have opened the door. You would have had a humanitarian corridor out. Israel would have gone in, removed Hamas, removed Palestinian Islamic Jihad, freed the hostages, and everyone can go back to being how it's supposed to be if anyone actually cared about the innocent civilians. So the fact that you would not the fact that you would not demand other countries to assist in removing innocent civilians, if there are any, from the zone, from the war zone, shows everything that we need to know about that. You're saying 60 blocking aid trucks is inhumane. The aid trucks are getting delivered to Hamas, an organization that is then selling the aid on the street and taking advantage of people that don't have access to food and water. So the people that have been saying not to provide aid are saying you should not be funding the genocidal maniacs that are holding hostages. That is the issue of the aid truck. And despite the fact that there are people that think that Israel should not be providing aid to a genocidal terrorist organization, despite the fact that there are people that say that, Israel is still providing all of this stuff. In fact, that's one of the reasons that many people think that the government and the army were weak, because they were providing aid. Dehumanizing people is inhumane. Uh, listen, I don't think that someone who supports Hamas has a moral compass. So not calling out evil in our midst is inhumane. Palestinians don't need to go anywhere. Again, right now they do actually need to go somewhere because there are innocent hostages being held in Gaza, and the IDF is going to go and get them. And if they are supporting Hamas, then they are part of Hamas. If they want to get out and get out of the way, great. But they cannot sit there on top of the innocent civilian hostages and then complain that their house gets knocked down. Yes, they cannot let their innocent civilians, quote unquote, out because they lose their shields. Exactly. I hate to break it to you, to all of you pro-Palestine freaks. Seriously, um, Sinwar didn't care about you. Doesn't care about any of these women and children. In fact, he wanted them to get killed because he knows that it turns the media and political parties against Israel. So if you had been in Gaza, Sinwar would have wished that you actually got killed in all likelihood. Well, they are not going anywhere. Okay, just watch. Just watch. Gabriel K. Shields only work if your opposition cares about human life. Israel does not care about life. That's why they kill hostages. Um, what the hell are you even talking about? Remember when they shot their own hostages? Do you understand that the issue of Israel killing those hostages shook the IDF to its very core? It's one of the darkest days in the history of the IDF. It's exactly why the Israelis and the Jewish people are different than the Gazan death cult. Because in Israel, it's the subject to investigation, it's the subject to deep, deep pain because there's such sanctity on human life. And on the Gazan side of things, they're very comfortable killing a baby. They're very comfortable sending people to blow themselves up in Israeli coffee shops. So it's a complete inverse. Um, again, you, yeah, this is awesome. This is amazing. So you want all the Arabs gone from the area? No, but people that support Hamas or support Islamic Jihad should leave. And those who want to live in a genuine peace with a state of Israel, again, be my guest. But if you support terrorist organizations that came and beheaded people, raped people, murdered people, stole their property, burned their houses, yeah, you have no business living in the area. Why does Israel bomb hospitals and schools? Well, it's actually quite simple. It's simple because Hamas is in there. I have a friend. He's been very public here. Aaron, he was crossing a route. He was actually shot in the leg from a sniper set up in an UNRWA UN school. His commander was shot in the head and killed out of a sniper from an UNRWA school. So to answer your question, that is why they have to bomb hospitals and schools. They are buildings that are identified as hospitals and schools that are not actually hospitals and schools in behavior. So no, it's not defending a war crime. It's not a war crime if you have a terrorist organization setting up military threats from those buildings. So just because you put something on the wall does not make it a school or a hospital. It is a valid military target. Israel does not have thousands of hostages. You know, Gabriel K, if you would like, I would more than happy to shoot you a link right here. If you actually want to join on the video, I would love to see you actually put a face to this. Al Shifa Hospital, you don't even understand what was found there. Al Shifa Hospital was a terrorist hellhole. Again, you can ask again and again. A terrorist hellhole. Yes, the war crime is keeping innocent people hostages. Again, if any of you, they're not going anywhere unless you unalive all of them. Nothing was found. Al Shifa. They literally found nothing. Okay, it's just not true. There were rifles, grenades, RPGs in the MRI machine. There are entrances and exits of tunnels under Al Shifa Hospital. No, it's not. It's not. Okay, all of you Palestinian knuckleheads, if you would like to join right here, shoot me a note. I'm more than happy to jump on video because I would love you to actually put a face to this. Because you can say whatever you want in the comment section, but the second you actually have to defend this, I would love to see you make an effort at that. I'm waiting right here. Just put your face to it. Again, we're joining here today because Hamas brought their babies, brought the children to actually celebrate, listen to music, and parade caskets around in Gaza. And it's really that's Palestinian nationalism. That is the death cult of Palestinian nationalism, parading caskets around. Um, and it must be tough being in Gaza when the, it must be tough being in Gaza knowing that every single time you start a war, you end up getting your ass kicked, losing, and it has to be tough repeatedly doing it. So they got desperate enough they have to parade caskets around stage. It's a little bit strange. Um, I'm not what I don't know what nation you're talking about, Calvin. We're talking about the fact that there are people that live in Gaza. Apparently, though, they were refugees in Gaza, but now they can't leave because they're not refugees. So I'm not really sure what to actually believe there. Um, and again, I'm just going to address something here. Hypothetical. If you're talking about, say, an IDF soldier accidentally kills someone that's being held hostage by Hamas, the moral responsibility is on Hamas, not on that soldier, because the entire situation was brought by the death cult of Palestinian nationalism, Hamas Islamic Jihad. So the responsibility, the moral and ethical responsibility, is on the hands of those groups. It is not on the hands of Israel. In the same way, every single death in Gaza is the responsibility of Hamas and Islamic Jihad. So these insane, fake intellectual arguments from all of the pro um, Palestinian clowns are it's disturbing. But you know, at the end of the day, Palestinian nationalism is a death cult, a complete death cult, obsessed with murdering Jews, murdering Israelis, destroying the West. It is incompatible with Western values. It's incompatible with humanity. And they enjoy watching terrorist porn. They enjoy going into random kibbutzim, blowing up the houses, killing the children, shooting the dogs, killing people on bikes, raping people at a rave. That is Palestinian nationalism. And yes, you might find a couple people here and there. Even if you said 25%, I'm not sure what the number is, but if you say 25% that don't support October 7th, the overwhelming majority of these people are part of a death cult that support the murder of innocent civilians, that want dead Jews, want dead Israelis. And you can tell me that uh, what world you live, Najla, whatever, dude. Al Jazeera is straight up fake news. So I know you like to listen to your propaganda. Al Jazeera is actually so fake and so Islamist that the Palestinian Authority banned it. So it's too radical for the Palestinian Authority, which pays the families of terrorists. So the organization that pays families of terrorists that blow themselves up in Israeli cafes, buses, shops says that Al Jazeera is too jihadist for them. And then when we call it out, you say oh, but this isn't real. I mean, it's a complete clown show. And again, every single one of the people here who's Calvin, Israel did 9/11. Okay, dude, you can say this again, say it all you want, whatever. You are nuts. And no matter, listen, at the end of the day, Israel is facing some of the most morally depraved, sick people in the history of the world. Jeffrey Dahmer isn't as sick as the modern leader of Hamas. Okay? The sickest, most disgusting murderers and rapists that ever walked the earth couldn't even match the moral depravity of Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad. So let's just call it what it is. The modern Palestinian nationalism is a death cult. It needs to be stopped. You cannot allow them to have a two-state delusion where the Jewish people are not giving up an inch of our land in the face of this radicalism. You will not go into Israel and murder our women and children, behead our people, destroy our communities, and expect to get anything positive in return. There is nothing positive that's going to come out of this, except that Israel is going to take care of the Palestinian issue, which is the radicalization jihad. So if there are innocent people in Gaza, it's only Israel that's going to remove this radicalism and this jihadism from the education system and from the leadership. So the innocent Gazan, if there is one, should be supporting Israel. You will leave and go back where, okay, get some history. Dude, come on right now. If you want to come, I'll send it to you. Happy that you can join right here. Defend it, put your face on it. Everyone can hide behind all these emojis or whatever you want. Come defend it. You don't have the courage to defend it because you know that what you're saying is just made up. Come, Calvin, you want to come on? Let's go. Any single one of you ignorant Palestinian supporters can come on right now. You can join. I'll let you join the feed. Let's go. Anyone. I want to see the people that support the rapists, support the baby killers, support the murderers. Come on, show your face, and let's see what it is. Because at the end of the day, to defend Palestinian nationalism is to defend a death cult. Goodbye. Exactly. Okay, fine. So you can't do anything. Okay, come on, let's go. Listen, in Israel, they're willing to risk soldiers' lives to rescue a dead body of a soldier who was killed 10 years ago. That's how much we value the lives and the sacrifice of the soldiers. And on the other side, in Gaza, they will raise their children to blow themselves up, to kill themselves, and to wage jihad against Israel and to become a shaheed. So let's be very clear on the difference here. Let's be very clear. Questions, thoughts, anything else? Again, we're here. The conversation is the death cult in Gaza has lied, provided a random body instead of Sherry Bibas. Oh, actually, let me respond here to Sahar. IDF killed its own people on 10/7. Yeah, the IDF killed some of its own people on 10/7. There were friendly fire incidents, and it was a very chaotic scene. The IDF was overwhelmed for the first 7 to 8 hours. Is that insulting? I don't know. I don't think that's insulting. When you say that it's a war, unfortunately, things happen. So you say this, you sound like an idiot, and you have you're saying it as if it's a it's a failure of the IDF, and it's something that's worked on and deeply painful. It you know the Jewish people, Israel, are very different than the Gazan culture. It's we're they want to work on it and it care it matters, but it's not that's not disproving what happened on 10/7. It was a chaotic friendly fire incident that happened in multiple locations because crazy monsters broke through the border and tried to kill and rape as many people as possible. So that's not really an insult. Um, Military objective? It was not a military objective. Sometimes knuckleheads like Sahar and others, um, they try to say that um, the Hannibal directive is somehow lessening or somehow removing the responsibility from Hamas. So you have Hamas and Islamic Jihad who are kidnapping people out of their beds and kidnapping soldiers. And there's a thought that what they would go through and endure in Gaza is not survivable. So some people made that decision, and I can't speak to whether it was where that came from, but all I'm saying is that's the context of it. So when you say that, it's crazy. Who lied about beheaded babies? This is actually a great question. Okay. Um, the thing where a few organizations said that babies were put in ovens and um, some were beheaded. The incident they're talking about in Beirut absolutely 100% did not happen. Those people should apologize and they should say that they were wrong. What I'm going to say is I spoke to someone who was on the rescue team and he didn't realize actually when they went to evacuate one of the houses and the bones had actually shriveled because of the heat and how they were burned alive. So when his assistant picked up the bones, he thought they were the bones of a baby. He didn't realize that it was the bones of 8 full-grown adults. That was some of the original miscommunication. So for all of you Palestinian Nazi supporters, your freedom fighters, as you call them, murdered people and the bones were actually unrecognizable. That's how much they were burned. Sahar, you're welcome to come on and show your face if you want. Again, any of you cowards from the Palestinian faction here, welcome to come on. I've yet to see anybody who actually has the courage to join, but if you want to, be more than happy to have you join here. Um, yeah, okay. It's not hateful to call out what they have done. So, again, any of you Palestinian people, supporting, um, sounds so much more different than Haaretz reporting. I don't know what you're talking about. Again, come on and talk about it. There's very clear things. There were mistakes that were made there. Okay. I'm not defending anything that's not factual. So the mobs of Palestinians that came running into Israel just to have a chance to kill a Jew. I mean, how much hate do you have to have in your education system to feel like perhaps the favorite moment of your life is coming into Israel to try to kill someone? I mean, what a sick society. Do you think the Palestinian weapons can cause that kind of damage? I have no idea what you're talking about. I can tell you that there were people that they actually brought their children in to help put gasoline on houses in Kibbutz Be'eri and in Kfar Aza, and helped burn innocent people alive. I'm not Palestinian, but since the war, says Honey, I support Palestine and want to be a Muslim. Is there something about people martyring themselves that make you want to join Hamas? I mean, maybe you should report yourself to the FBI or something. I'm not really sure. Again, can you imagine how sick in the mind you have to be to watch this war and to watch the Palestinian death cult declare itself every single day and then say, oh, okay, I want to join that? I mean, you have to be sick in the head. Any other questions, thoughts, anything again tonight? Hamas returned the bodies of the murdered babies that Hamas murdered, and they brought a random body instead of their mother. So again, no, it's not. Again, let's just comment. Let's just be clear here. Not one single one of these supporters of the Palestinian cause has agreed to actually join the live stream here. You've been invited repeatedly, so you can say and spout off whatever the crap you want to say. Doesn't matter if it's true or not. You're too scared to actually to actually face it. Ignoring my question, Knight. What question did you ask? I didn't see. Look, I don't even see your question. So write your question again, Knight. Okay, you're not worth it. Whatever. Fine. Are you going to discuss? Are you going to discuss what Israelis have done, said, and continue to do, or are you biased? I'm happy to discuss what Israel has done and continues to do. Hold on a second. Again, any one of you guys, you come on. You're welcome to join on the live stream. Welcome to come join. Not a single one of you have done that. Not a single one. So if you want to hear more of this commentary and stuff like this, check out the Mail Time podcast on Spotify. Mail Time, MAEL time on Spotify, dealing with all sorts of issues, talking about Israel and the Jewish people after October 7th. Just had Michal Lubinov on yesterday. Her husband was kidnapped from the Nova Music Festival on October 7th, and she was 4 months pregnant. They had another toddler at home, and she gave birth while Alex was in captivity, and he was murdered along with 5 other hostages in a Hamas tunnel the end of August. It's a crazy story, but she is telling it and is on the road to try to help as many widows as possible so people like herself can be in a better situation. Again, that's the Mail Time podcast on Spotify, MAEL, or you can follow it on YouTube. It's Unit 11741. That's the YouTube channel if you want to check it out. Again, any of you Palestinian death cult supporters, if you would like to join on the live stream here, you're welcome to come. Not a single person has taken me up on this offer for over an hour now. because again, they love to hide behind the mask. They love to hide behind the kafia and say all sorts of crazy things and then not be accountable to it. So that seems to be pretty consistent with what we're seeing on the ground. Um, One second. Yeah, Big Red. Okay, come on, Big Red. You want to join the live stream here? Let's see what you're talking about. Again, all of these people talk a huge game, and then when it comes to it, you anyone who can't see anything wrong with their side. I will admit again and again things that have been said, done incorrectly on the Israeli side. 100%. So we're here talking about the fact that the Palestinian national narrative is intertwined with murderers, rapists, death cult, and the fact that their heroes are murderers and horrendous people. So Yahya Sinwar was known as the butcher of Khan Yunis for murdering Palestinians with his bare hands when he suspected that they had talked to Israel. So this person, that's hysterical. I look like Abu. We wouldn't. Yeah, okay. At least we can share a laugh. I mean, listen, the Jewish people are going to have peace. It's probably not going to involve anyone from Gaza at this rate because they are in the category of person that enjoys parading caskets around and celebrating death. And that's not really compatible with the Israeli narrative or what Israel wants to do. You know, we don't like to go into other people's territory and start raping them. That's not what happens. The Arabs and Palestinians have done this. Look at the Hebron massacre in 1929. Horrendous massacre. And it was the precursor to what we saw on October 7th. And, you know, Haj Amin al-Husseini was a Nazi. So the father of modern Palestinianism was a Nazi. And that says a lot about how we end up with Palestinian nationalism today looking how it looks. Because at its core, it was based on the elimination and the destruction of Jews and the destruction of, at the time, a future state of Israel, but now the state of Israel. And it's important that we understand the history. We understand the history clearly. This is not an oppressor-oppressed issue. This is the fact that one side are controlled, run by genocidal maniacs like Yasser Arafat, Yahya Sinwar, and slightly less courageous maniacs like Mahmoud Abbas, who only pays the family of terrorists. It's very important to recognize that there hasn't been one case of a Palestinian civilian coming to the aid of an innocent Israeli hostage in Gaza in over 500 days. Not one case. Not one. You know, it's funny. On October 7th, there were already some Jewish people, Israelis, that were saying Israel shouldn't retaliate. Far left elements, but they're out there in the streets. You don't see that out loud on the street because they're afraid they're going to get killed in Gaza. We don't hate. This is what you have to understand. Not Najlo. You have to understand. We are defending ourselves against the fact that you think you can come and murder a 9-month-old baby. That is Palestinian nationalism, murdering babies. Doesn't matter how many times you try to invert that and say the opposite on the national stage. Palestinian nationalism is murdering babies, parading caskets around. It is a fact. And if Palestinians would like to change that, I think there's a lot of lefty Jews that are interested in trying to change that, including Oded Lifshitz, who was murdered by Palestinians after he used to take people, pick them up at the border, and bring them to Israeli hospitals. I'll say this: if you want to share this live with your friends, ask any questions, comments. If you want to join, if you hate Israel and you want to join, I'm more than happy to join on the live stream here. Not a single person has taken me up on that because there's a lack of courage. What are you even? I mean, some of this propaganda from the. Okay, come on. I don't know how to. I want to debate. Okay. How do I? Let's see if I can figure this out here. I'll send the link. There's no request option. I don't even know how to send me a message on TikTok. Send. No, I have a multi-guest option. It's just I'm on a restream. So here we go. I have it. Send me a request on TikTok. All right. We got our first our first person who is taking up on this offer to have a friendly debate or discussion here. I am Bilal. I've literally addressed this. If you weren't here, it's one of the darkest days in Israeli history, and it's horrible. Those 3 Israeli hostages that were killed by the IDF. But the moral responsibility is on Hamas. Messages. Okay. I don't even know how to copy or there we go. Okay. Hold on. I'm gonna. All right. Messages. How, there's no. Okay, fine. Messages, facts, messages. Okay, let's see here. So you sent me a message. Okay. Here we go. Let's see. But that's a different person. Someone else also wanted to join on. Messages, message requests. Okay, there you go. Okay. Yeah, join. The link I sent you is the guest on the restream. That's how I do it. So you can join. It's on restream. That's how I'm able to do it. because I don't TikTok the guest panel because I wasn't allowed to actually go live on it through TikTok. So I don't know. This is just the only way I was able to do it. Um, I mean, you're not clicking the link. It's literally the restream. It's a link thing on restream. I don't know. Whatever. Okay, fine. The other guy here. Um, let's see. Let's see what's going on. Um, yeah, I don't even know how to do that. All right, hold on. Let me find this here. Again, we're waiting to come and defend the baby killers. Um, let's see if they have any courage to do that. Um, talk a big game, but we'll see what's going on. Um, let's see. Um, trying to see this here. What happens if I for Windows? Okay. Again, it's tonight. They have a good night. Um, Hamas has delivered the wrong body. They have not actually given Sherry Bebos his body back, and this is it's tragic night in Israel. Um, let's see here. Okay. Users. Again, we're waiting for a single Palestinian supporter to actually want to join the live stream and try to defend the baby killers of Hamas, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, and the death cult narrative that is Palestinian nationalism. You can do whatever you want. There's no reason why you couldn't. It's just on restream. There's no if you unless you have enough there, you can't do it. So um, I I get paid nothing. I wish I got paid something. Nothing. That's why I'm here talking to you. Um, all right, hold on. Okay. How come we never saw pictures or proof of baby killing? Actually, there are pictures. The pictures were spread. They are there. So, yes, they are there. I am Bilal. Send me a message on TikTok here. If you actually had some courage, you'd come and have the discussion with your face and talk. But instead, you're going to hide and say whatever you're going to say here. But it's that's the way it goes. The Palestinian narrative. If you can't hide behind fake news, Al Jazeera, then you have no facts. So, um, listen. If you had any courage, I am Bilal. You'd be on here right now. You have no courage. You're weak. Um. Uh, oh, okay. So this guy here. Now you're asking me to read a Muhammad Tamimi article again and again. You're asking me to read this. Okay. Let's see. Okay. IDF says misidentification led to accidental killing of Palestinian toddler. Officer conducting search at scene of attack on military post fired into air after spotting suspicious vehicle, whereupon soldier mistook father and child for fleeing attackers. The IDF said Wednesday it had wrapped up its probe into the death of a Palestinian toddler who was mistakenly shot by Israeli troops in the West Bank earlier this month. 2.5-year-old Mohammed Tamimi and his father, Haitham, were hit by gunshots as Israeli soldiers returned fire at Palestinian gunmen who had shot toward them at the settlement of Neve Tzuf. So there are terrorists that are shooting at soldiers, and soldiers under gunfire are, they're returning back. Okay. According to the probe, on June 1st, two Palestinian gunmen opened fire at the settlement of Neve Tzuf, also known as Halamish, and an adjacent military post on the outskirts of the Palestinian village of Neve Salah. Troops stationed at the post returned fire, but due to a misidentification, they targeted the Palestinian child and the father and child, the latter of whom later died. The probe said soldiers monitoring surveillance cameras identified the two gunmen and notified troops at the post. The soldiers at the post heard the gunfire but could not locate the source. An officer who quickly reached the scene began to search the area for the gunman who fled. The officer fired into the air against Army regulations after spotting a suspicious vehicle, according to the probe. The probe found that at the same time, one of the soldiers at a post near the Palestinian village spotted two figures entering a vehicle in the area and wrongly thought it was the gunman who had opened fire at the settlement. The soldier asked for permission from his commander to open fire, and after receiving an okay, fired several bullets at the car, resulting in the fatal injury of infant Muhammad and the serious injury of his father. The sequence of events and hearing the officer's gunfire during the searches in the village led the soldiers to believe it was the gunfire of the fleeing terrorists. The father and son reached the army post after a short while and were treated by military medics and other medical forces. So after this accidental shooting, Israel then provides medical support to these people. Father and son reached army. Okay. The investigation revealed gaps in the command and control of commanders in the incident, as well as the report and dialogue between forces in the field, which led to wrong decision making. The IDF said the officer fired into the air against Army protocol will be formally censured. Okay, so he's getting in trouble. The probe's findings from hands to the military prosecutor's office. Regrets the harm to civilians after the charge will continue to learn in order to precisely target terrorism. Tensions between Israel and the Palestinians have been elevated for the past year, with the military carrying out nearly nightly raids in the West Bank in the wake of a series of deadly Palestinian terror attacks. A string of Palestinian attacks in Israel and the West Bank has killed 21 people since the start of this year and left several more seriously hurt. At least 117 West Bank Palestinians have been killed since the beginning of the year, most of them while carrying out attacks or during clashes with security forces. But some were uninvolved civilians or were killed under circumstances that are being investigated. Okay, the key word is investigated. Okay. When you make a mistake in Israel, there's an investigation, and someone who accidentally kills a baby is not held as a hero. Okay. And the Gazan society, they are the heroes. They are on the wall. They are something to aspire to. And when you What, dude? If you're saying, if you're saying that, first of all, you type a lot. If you just want to join, it'd be much easier. But the concept that Israel responding to a terrorist who fired on them somehow enables or justifies or somehow is providing cover. Like, listen, at the end of the day, soldiers under fire make mistakes. And in Israel, it is deeply painful, and people pay a price for making that mistake. Um, oh, listen, by the way, just because, first of all, Hamas today claimed that they were returning Shiri Bibas, Ariel Bibas, and Kfir Bibas. And they returned Ariel Bibas, Kfir Bibas, and a random body. And now you're telling me that the Times of Israel is biased. Listen, your leaders, Hamas, don't even tell the truth about what they're returning. The people that they murdered, give, they don't even honestly turn over murdered hostages that they murdered. Because again, the civilians of Gaza kidnapped the Bibas kids. The civilians of Gaza kidnapped the mother. So it's astonishing that you will take at face value that there was no shooting when you know that in the UNRWA schools and in the Palestinian society, it is a good thing to attack the IDF and it is a good thing to try to kill Jews. And it makes perfect sense that there would be people firing on Israeli soldiers because that's what they're taught to do in school. Where is Shiri Bibas? That's a great question. Hamas has not given an answer. And they lied. The death cult paraded a random woman in a casket around, and they brought their children to watch it. So it's a tragic day. And it's always nice to see the people trying to support a death cult. Why are there soldiers there? Because the Palestinian nationalism is a death cult that seeks to kill Israelis. And Israel is required to put its men and women on the front lines to defend the civilians of Israel because the Palestinian national death cult seeks to kill Israelis at random. Look at the Fogel family. A baby in their crib, murdered. And then when their murderer is going to get out of prison, they're celebrated in the streets. You know, if God forbid a sexual predator moved into a neighborhood in America, people would run the other way. They'd file a police report. They'd say, I don't want to live here. But when a murderer gets out of jail, the Palestinians are happy. The Palestinians parade them around. The Palestinians are celebrating. The Palestinians are having a feast in the streets, handing out candy. The sickest society, perhaps in the history of the world. Jeffrey Dahmer couldn't dream of being as sick as this Palestinian society. So it is a society that celebrates murder, celebrates death, and wants to see October 7th happen again and again. That is the words of Hamas. That is not our words. That is the words of Hamas. And that is the society that these people are supporting. That's what these people support. Anybody who wants to join on here, you're more than welcome. I'll send you the link through Restream. You're more than happy to join. I will debate any single one of you right now. I would love to try to hear someone defend the murderers and rapists in Gaza and justify the murder of 9-month-old Kfir Bibas, 4-year-old. You're such, dude. This guy is crazy. What, dude? Yeah, not, either get on or get off the or get out of here because you're just posting insane amount of stuff and you're speaking out of your behind. Yes, you can very easily find quotes from these people that are outright anti-Semitic. In fact, you have a video of Hania praying and saying and thanking God when he sees images of terrorists shooting all over Sderot on October 7th. So you're just nuts. Um, no, I am not Israeli. Honestly, stop the bro, human to human. Do you see what the IDF soldiers post in Gaza? I think that the videos that the IDF posted in Gaza with lingerie and with people's personal belongings are absolutely disgusting. The people that posted those videos should go to jail. And it is a disgrace to the state of Israel and a disgrace to the IDF that they did that. I absolutely think that it's completely wrong. And Um, no, this guy, and I'm ignoring you. It's not that there's no quotes. There's plenty of quotes. I'm ignoring you. So just stop commenting. You're annoying. Um, I'm not ignoring any real questions. You can send it to me here. Again, any single person that wants to join on the live stream, you're more than happy to join. I would love to go head to head with any of you to try to uh, for listen, I'm not saying if they are or not, and there's a lot of things going on, but it's not celebrated in the society. It's absolutely disgusting. That's the difference. You have to understand we are not naming streets after people that break the law. Okay. Palestinian society is Palestinian nationalism is around the murderers, around the terrorists. Um, dude, UNRWA and people making crazy statements is not doctors saying that babies are being targeted. You can say whatever the hell you want on Al Jazeera. It does not make it true. Okay. It's just not true. Oh, God, okay. Not a single person here is willing to come and actually have a debate. It's worth noting because you can even put your keffiyeh on and hide behind it if that's what you need to do. But there's no um, Tarek Thabata, do you want to join? I'd be more than happy to invite you to have a conversation or to have a discussion about this. Um, what are you talking about? No, people. Okay, there's not even. You can't even respond to half of this insanity. Um, Crazy. People were fighting to not let aid into Gaza because the aid is controlled by Hamas. But Israel, the leadership of Israel, didn't listen and did provide aid, which you could make an argument is anti human rights because there is enabling Hamas is not in favor, is not helping the children in Gaza. The best way to help the children in Gaza is to get rid of Hamas. Yeah, I have hatred for Hamas. Guilty. Yes, a lot of hatred for Hamas and Islamic Jihad. I have hatred for people who rape women. I have hatred for people who murder innocent civilians. So therefore, I have hatred for uh, Hamas and Islamic Jihad. Um, the aid is going into Gaza. You can see whatever video you want to see. The aid is there. Okay, so um, no, you're just not correct. Yeah, listen, we can see, you can say whatever video you want. You can say make up whatever excuse you want. At the end of the day, there's one side here that glorifies the martyrs, that glorifies the people trying to go into Israel and murder people. And that's the Palestinian side. That is Gaza. It is a strip of hatred and death that has been bred by UNRWA, bred by the sickest, most inhumane things in the world. Again, Jeffrey Dahmer couldn't dream of the level of depravity that you saw today from the Palestinian people and from Gaza. The fact that they brought their babies to watch other babies in coffins says everything you need to know about Gaza and everything you need to know about Palestinian nationalism. Palestinian nationalism is a death cult. It is obsessed with the murder of Jews, the murder of Israel, the destruction of Israel. Just call it for what it is. There are millions of left-wing Jews that have been trying to talk about dialogue and coexistence and all this stuff. And the fact of the matter is, the Gazans came in on October 7th and murdered them and murdered any chance at coexistence. It was murdered by the people from Gaza, who voted for Hamas, brought Hamas in. And again, there is not one Palestinian Oscar Schindler. There's not one civilian that has helped the hostages. There's not one person who's actually stood up and said, this is wrong, let's get them out of here. There's not one. And the fact that all of the focus is on Israel and not on Egypt and not on Jordan and any of these other places says everything you need to know about the anti-Semitism. Because if Egypt had said, listen, we disagree with Hamas, anybody who doesn't support Hamas and is truly innocent, come out here, live in the Sinai, and, on October 8th, all of the quote unquote innocent people could be gone. But they didn't do that. They said, no, we need the shields there. We need the innocent people to die, because that is what Hamas and Islamic Jihad is about. And again, I am full of hate for Hamas and Islamic Jihad. Proudly guilty. I hate Hamas. I hate Islamic Jihad. And I can't stand people that want to defend child abusers, because the defenders of Hamas support child abuse. The defenders of Hamas to support rapists. The defenders of Hamas support murderers. So you can go and say whatever you want about being hateful. Yes, I hate Hamas. I hate Islamic Jihad. It is an absolute disgrace that any person who claims to care about humanity would support such an organization. These are people that are the modern incarnation of Nazis, and people have the chutzpah to come on a TikTok, to go on YouTube, to go on Instagram, to put a keffiyeh on and run around like an idiot on the streets of New York and say that they support these people. You are supporting child abuse, because no child is born saying that they're going to become a shaheed and kill themselves to kill other Jews, or to kill Jews and to kill other people. That is taught by UNRWA. It is taught by the Palestinian National Death Cult and Gaza, and it needs to be called out. It needs to be called out consistently. And at the end of the day, if we don't speak up about it, then we are culpable on it. The fact of the matter is, the Palestinian national narrative needs to change. It is a death cult. You are supporting terrorism. You are supporting moral depravity. You are supporting children being raised to blow themselves up and to kill people. And that's not to say that there aren't issues in other countries, okay? There are other issues in other countries, whether that's America, Australia, Britain, Israel, name it. Yes, there's problems. You know something? It's how you deal with it. Israel has produced an individual who murdered the prime minister of Israel, and that person was Jewish, and that person is despicable, and that person will never see the light of day again. A horrible human being. And Israel, Jewish people stand up and say that is disgusting, that is horrible. go to jail, and nobody wants to get you out because you are disgraceful. The Palestinian national narrative, Gaza, they celebrate the murder, they celebrate the death, they bring their children to watch the coffins of other kids going and being paraded around. And that's a fact. Again, these knuckleheads with Hannibal Directive. What is the Hannibal Directive? People, there's concern saying that whatever you're going to endure in captivity is going to be worse. It's better to be dead. That's the thought that was behind the Hannibal Directive. And there are, it definitely happened on October 7th, but that doesn't prove anything. It proves that Gazan civilians, Hamas, Islamic Jihad, were trying to bring innocent people into Gaza. And there was a concern about if they were going to be tortured, and would it be better for them to be dead than to go into captivity. So again, all of these insane child abusing supporters of child abuse who can keep saying the same thing. Again, any single one of you are welcome to join this live stream right now. Any single one of you will have a discussion. If you want to just defend the rapists, if you want to just defend the people who murder babies, go ahead. If that's what you want to do, if that's what makes you happy in life, go ahead. Again, the Jews are not the victims. I'm not saying it's a victim. We are here saying we are not going to let the Palestinian national death cult do this kind of thing anymore. All right, yeah. This is you are the occupier. Wow. Okay. Is that really the best that they got? I mean, your guys are just, it's pathetic. It's pathetic. You guys are literally, it's like you have the temple, the first temple, the second temple. Everywhere you look, there's Jewish history everywhere. And they say, oh, we're trying to prevent the Judaization of Jerusalem. I mean, stupid doesn't even begin to describe the level of craziness. Yes, I do ignore, but again, I'm just curious if any single one of these cowards would be willing to join on a live stream, because they keep saying that they're fighting back, they're doing this, they're doing that. They're cowards. Just cowards. I mean, look at this. You have Saudi Arabia, one of the chief imams of Saudi Arabia, came out today and said that what Hamas did is actually a departure from Islam. But then you have stupid lefty people in the West defending Hamas. I mean, it's the stupidity is actually really hard to keep track of. You're dude, Israel had said, we never want to go back to Gaza. We're not doing anything. Just don't shoot at us. Don't do anything. Just stay over there and do whatever you want. Then the Gazans whine that they need to come in to get work permits because they need to work because they can't work in Gaza for whatever reason. Then they say, now you are trying to steal our land. Israel wasn't doing anything in Gaza before October 7th. The Gazans came in to try to destroy Israel, lost. Now they're getting their asses kicked. And then they start whining. And then as a response, they parade a baby's coffin around stage. and they bring their babies to watch it. And Israel did not block food, water, and medicine. I wish that Israel blocked food and water from getting to the hands of Hamas, but they didn't. People were saying that they should have, and they didn't. So, um, I mean, have you seen how fat some of the people on stage are for Hamas? I mean, you have some fat Hamas people, like morbidly obese Hamas people. They definitely got the cookies. And you're going to sit here and complain that there's a famine. I mean, I've never seen a famine with so many people that are grossly overweight. Um, Again, Hamas is taking the aid and then using it and selling it to people who don't have really money, and um, and then somehow now these people are complaining there's not enough aid for Hamas to make money. Okay, yeah, and by the way, Israel's the worst of all time at this genocide because I've never seen so many babies and kids and everything. If someone's committing a deliberate genocide, as the morons on the other side are saying, um, it's just wild. The death cult. And again, will any of these cowards want to join the live stream here and actually have a debate? Show your face, anything. Bueller. I mean, it's crazy. The lack of courage. We got to talk about this. It's like the same way that the Palestinian rats go into tunnels and hide. You have all these people, they come out, they hide on the comment sections and say whatever they're doing, but then they can't actually come on and have a discussion about it. So it's it's unbelievable. They wear masks, hide their faces, and the only time they take their faces, then they have their clean clothes and everything. And then the second that an army comes and says, "Okay, we want to do this," um, yeah, I'm saying by the way, the Palestinian rats who go into tunnels and hide while holding innocent civilians. Okay, that makes someone a rat. Sinwar is a rat. Yes. Um, yeah, that's not. So yes, it does say it all. Yeah. Um, because I have this going through Restream, if you want to join on the feed, you have to request on a message. Be happy to include and send the link over. But yeah, no, listen, it's just it's crazy. Ramadan is coming, so let us focus on that, and all eyes will be on Gaza. Okay. Do you understand that this whole Ramadan is coming thing is so crazy? Like, listen, it was Simchat Torah. It was a holiday when Gaza decided to try to invade Israel. So, where's the reciprocal appreciation for holidays? I didn't say the Palestinians are rats. I said the Palestinians who hide in tunnels are rats. If there are innocent civilians, I'd be more than happy to help see them into Egypt so they can get out of the way and Israel can finish the job with Hamas, because Israel is going to finish the job with Hamas, and every single Hamas member is going to be wiped off the face of this earth. Yeah, it's going to be Yeah, it's like, go to school, go to work with daddy. You're going to go watch them parade coffins around stage. That says it all for the Palestinian narrative. All right, I'm going to close up this live here, but I might jump on in a bit. So if any of you cowards on the pro-Palestinian side want to join, more than happy to have that discussion. So until then, God willing, Shiri Bivas's body is returned very soon.